If you're wondering what actually works to get a job in today's market, then this video is for you. My name is Sarah Camillo. I'm a certified career coach and resume writer with 15 years of recruiting experience. So as we all know, the job market is more competitive and just different than it's ever been. So blindly applying to like 50 jobs a day is just not going to cut it. And when I talk to other job seekers, my clients, and outside of that, what used to work, other traditional methods, what works for you in the past is just not working for you either. So today I'm sharing 5 job searching strategies that are actually working this year in 2025. Now, some of these strategies you've probably already heard about, but similar to how fashion trends change by the season, I'm adding a little twist to kind of enhance these strategies to make sure you're doing them right for what works today. Pay attention to number 4 because that one's more important than you even realize. So let's get into it. So you probably have all heard the phrase work smarter, not harder. Well, strategy number 1 is network smarter, not harder. Networking is still one of the most powerful ways to get a job today. Yet maybe how you're doing it can still be improved. Here are 3 examples. Number 1 is networking events. So attending these events is great, but are you doing it right and are you maximizing your time there? Some people say, well, I talked to one person, I got their phone number, I talked to 3 people, connected with them on LinkedIn. No, aim for about 10 people. Aim for as many people as you can at these events. And also, be the last person to leave. Turn off the lights, lock the door. See what I'm saying? Everything, like some of those critical conversations happen at the end of the night. And some of those key connections happen after the main event. So stay to the end and see what happens. The second one is networking emails or cold outreach or making new connections with people. So it's a tough approach. A lot of people are very uncomfortable with doing this, but I'm going to talk about it because it's extremely valuable when it's done right. So messaging recruiters, messaging hiring managers, or people at your target companies can really work with the right messaging. Another approach is going a level above all them. So if you know who the hiring manager or who the recruiter is for this job, maybe go above them, maybe go to the director level in that position. They tend to get fewer emails and fewer in-mails on LinkedIn, so it's definitely a good strategy to try and see if you get more connections. Also, again, these people get fewer messages, but they often have a hiring influence. So make those connections, reach out to whoever you can at those companies and see how you can get your foot in the door. And I've said this in other videos, networking is not a time to be shy. You need to put yourself out there, even if you feel a little uncomfortable doing it, because just one connection is all you need to get your foot in the door. The third approach is webinars or masterminds. So joining these are a great way to make a new connection and meet new people in the industry you're targeting. And at the end, don't just log off. Make sure that during the webinar or during the event, you're chatting with people online, you're making connections on the side and tracking down people's names, because these are the connections that you can follow up with after the event. And don't forget to ask thoughtful questions throughout. Connect with the speakers, definitely connect with the speakers or whoever is leading these webinars or masterminds. And often, if it's something that is coordinated through LinkedIn, you're able to see the other attendees for the event, so go ahead and reach out to them. It's an easy way to open the door and just be like, hey, what did you think of that webinar? Hey, what are your thoughts on this? Oh, this part really resonated with me. Like, just initiate the conversation. If you don't hear anything back, make a note of it, follow up in a week and see if they just missed it. You never know what kind of connections or new conversations are going to start from there. Strategy number 2 is don't apply for jobs until you have a contact at that company. In short, totally change your approach. Stop submitting any applications without first making a connection at the company. So this could be a former colleague, a former alum from the same university you went to, a friend of a friend, somebody you met through these webinars or masterminds, or somebody you just connected with on LinkedIn in general. Now, I know I talk about LinkedIn a lot. It's still a very valuable platform, but I also know it can be extremely overwhelming. So here's a strategy you can take to kind of take some of the overwhelm out of it and feel like you actually have some direction. So identify 10 to 15 target companies that you have in your industry, companies you'd love to work for, brands you'd love to be a part of. Make a list, continue to add to it until you get to 15 or 20. And then search LinkedIn for people who work there, whether it's recruiters, whether it's people already in the same industry as you with the same job title you'd be looking for, or maybe a job title even higher, things like that. Identify those people through LinkedIn, ideally in your desired department. And then go ahead and send a short personalized message. Here's a script that you can use. Hey, name. I saw that your company is hiring for X role, include the role in there, and I'd love to learn more about your experience there. Do you mind if we connect? You can put that simple note when you send them a connection request. There's a little button that says add a note. Send something like that in there. You have a higher chance of them reading that message versus an actual in-mail. And then again, with these target companies, reach out to other people you do know close to you, friends, families, other people you feel comfortable just sending a text to, and give them this list of your target companies and just ask them if they know anybody at these companies and see where that leads you. In short, when you build these relationships and connections first, your resume is far more likely to be seen by the right person. Okay, strategy number 3 is all about getting your name out there. So you know how like you've done some research on a new pair of shoes, new pair of running shoes you want. So you've done some research on your phone and then you continue to get ads, deals, discounts. Everything is about these Nike shoes, and maybe some other brands start popping up. Well, the more you see it, the more you think about it, the more you just are going to buy it, right? So similar to job searching, you want your name out there. You want the right people to see your name over and over and over. Strategy number 3 is about engaging on LinkedIn daily. So if you're not posting or commenting on LinkedIn on a regular basis, you are missing out. LinkedIn's algorithm strongly favors engagement. So when you show up consistently, recruiters and people at the companies that you're pursuing will start to notice you too. It takes a little bit of time. It's not going to happen in a week or two. It takes a little bit longer than that to really gain that momentum, but it's absolutely worth it. So here's another simple formula. Similar to how we talked about your target companies, your list of 10 to 20 target companies. Know who those are. Make sure you're following them already on LinkedIn. And then comment on those company posts a day. Meaning if the company posts something or a recruiter or somebody at that company posts something, make sure you're liking that, you're engaging in it, more than just a great post or a good idea. Like you're really engaging in it, putting in some thought into the comments that you're leaving. Because again, the more they see your name, the better. So suddenly you're going to find that somebody's looking at your profile from that company. So the more you do this, the better. You want your name to be like that Nike shoe ad that you continue to get. And then even more than that, make a post at least once a week. Make some kind of organic post, whether it's your own thoughts on something, whether you're sharing a post from one of your target companies or a different company within the industry or another thought or about the webinar that you took, anything like that to just get some momentum also on your posts and on your profile. And even if it's not about your industry, it's okay to do something even personal too. I recently had a client that went to a book signing and got to meet the author. She made a post about that and posted the picture. The LinkedIn algorithm also likes photos. So anything you can do to post a little bit more of what you're doing outside so people get to know a little more about you outside of just your profile or outside of just your resume, the better. Follow these steps and watch your analytics grow. You'll start getting more views on your profile, more inbound messaging, and more job leads at the end. And again, I know this doesn't come natural to everybody. It's not easy to everybody, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. And also, don't be so focused on how many likes or comments that you get on your post. It takes a while again to build that momentum. And even you don't know who's already looking, right? So sometimes I've made a post about resume writing and suddenly it may only get like 2 likes, but I'll have like 5 in-mails of people asking for help on their resume. So you don't know who's seeing it, right? So trust the algorithm, try this strategy, and see how it works for you. Strategy number 4, accept that the job application process is broken and it sucks, but we have to adapt to it. So let's be real, the whole hiring process really is flawed. So the fact that a recruiter is going to read your resume before a hiring manager in your field, it's all backwards to me, but this is how every company is structured and it's what we have to work with. And you never know what recruiter is on the other side. It could be a new recruiter to your function, could be an early career recruiter, or it could be somebody who's really polished and seasoned and knows everything about your industry. But you don't know that. So sometimes you come across a recruiter who isn't that familiar with your industry, has never worked in the job that you're in now or the one you're looking for. If they don't understand your resume, they will decline you. And that part is sad but true, because I used to manage recruiters, I used to train them, and I used to see how they would decline people who were a fit for the role, but they just simply didn't understand what the resume was describing to them. So rather than try to figure it out and ask the questions, they would decline them so they wouldn't look like they didn't know what they were doing to the hiring manager. So how do we adapt to this? If you work in finance, most recruiters have never worked in finance, but they know that in finance, your job is to help the company save money. So you need to make sure your resume describes that. If you work in sales, most recruiters have never worked in sales, but they want to know how you have increased revenue, have won awards, have been part of the President's Club, things like that. That's what shows success to them. And last one, if you work in IT, some of that technology is a foreign language to a lot of recruiters out there because they've never had to use it themselves. You need to clarify what you're saying, what you've done in your experiences to a recruiter who's never worked in your field before. And that's really the science behind a good resume. Yet those recruiters are going to look for things like how you use emerging technology like AI, innovation, how you increase the accuracy and automation and so forth for the company to operate. So again, in short, many recruiters don't even understand your job. They rely on those keywords and some of these key KPIs and results and numbers and all of that to really show that you were a good performer and left an impact at your last company. So unfortunately, this is the process, but instead of getting frustrated, just adapt to the system. So this topic could use a whole video on its own, but to sum it up, you need to write a resume that makes sense to a recruiter who's never worked in your field, includes very industry-specific keywords from the job description and from your industry and kind of those buzzwords, trendy words that recruiters are going to be searching for, and that it is clear and simple and easy to skim. Not a lot of paragraphs. Recruiters do not read word for word. You need to make it so it is bulleted and easy for them to read. So again, while this process is flawed and broken, it's so important that you find a way to make your experience understood by the people who are making these hiring decisions. Any questions about this, please comment below. Maybe I can make a separate video on it if you have some questions that I can kind of explain a little bit further. Strategy number 5, let's look beyond LinkedIn for jobs. I've already talked a lot about LinkedIn. Platform is fantastic. It adds a lot of value if you're job searching. Yet it should not be the only job search platform that you use. First of all, not every company posts all of their open jobs on there. I know a lot of people think that that is their main source that they go to for every job. But if you've ever done a search on one company, their career board, and then look at LinkedIn, not all of the jobs are on LinkedIn. And in fact, some companies will take a quarter off from posting any of their jobs on there. Or maybe they'll just post 20% of their jobs on LinkedIn and then use other platforms to try to get new candidates. Or they just try to save money and use their own career site instead. Now, some of those other platforms they may use are platforms like builtin.com, Glassdoor, or maybe industry specific like Dice for IT jobs or Sherm for HR jobs. There are so many industry specific job boards out there too. So be sure you're doing your research on the industry that you're in. Some other tools you can use are, again, the company career pages, and then Google for jobs. It's been a favorite of mine for a long time because it does what Google does, which is goes out to all these job boards and puts all the open jobs into one place for you. Makes it very efficient for job searching. Again, if you need any advice on how to use that, please comment below. And then again, use some industry specific Slack groups or groups on LinkedIn. Sorry, I know I said I wasn't going to talk about LinkedIn, but there are some groups on LinkedIn too, or Discord channels or other professional communities out there where some job openings are shared. Another site is called Welcome to the Jungle. That used to be called Ada or something, but that's another board that you can set up a profile and have jobs be sent to you on a regular basis. And lastly, connect with recruiting agencies who specialize in your industry. So that's the thing. There are so many recruiting agencies out there, and a lot of them are just so overwhelmed with the number of job searchers out there that you tend to get a lot of attention at first and then you slowly fall to the back of the pile. So what I recommend is research recruiting agencies who specialize in your industry and your geographic location. And then once you connect with somebody there, set up a cadence on when you're going to reach out to them to follow up. And so you stay top of mind with them as well, because they may say, hey, I'll be in touch with you in the next week or two, but you tend to fall way in the back burner. So go ahead and say, you know what, I'll reach out to you maybe once a week or every other week, every 10 days, whatever that is. You set the cadence on when you're going to follow up so that you keep the momentum going and you keep conversation going. So again, with this strategy, you want to diversify your job search. Don't get stuck on just LinkedIn or just Indeed. You need to mix it up. So those are the 5 job search strategies that are working today for job seekers. One last thing on the first one, when I said network smarter, not harder, these networking events and webinars are fantastic. But again, also don't forget to use your own network. Reach out to friends and colleagues and former coworkers and anybody you're comfortable with. Ask them out for coffee or lunch and just ask them for job searching advice. What would they do if they were in your position? Don't forget to use that, because those conversations are how you really find those kind of hidden opportunities that other job seekers miss. So definitely use your network in a smart way. Also, don't forget, don't apply until you make a connection at that company. Engage with LinkedIn daily. You want them to see your name over and over and over and over again. Write a resume that makes sense to recruiters who's never worked in your field. And again, look beyond LinkedIn as well. Make sure you mix it up. You mix up your job search and diversify it. So if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and comment below with any other topics you'd like me to hit on in the future. I'll see you in the next one.